everybody, welcome in. It is time for another episode of Three Guys Before the Game. This is episode 191 with the Dean, Hoppy Kercheval, the Senator, Brad Howe, and a special guest mountaineer joining us from overseas. In just a second, we're going to hook up with Alex Ruoff. He is in Göttingen, Germany, and we'll get an update from him on how he is handling everything related to the virus and more. Episode 191 of Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems. They are your full-service Konica Minolta dealer. Go to Comax Business Systems at comaxwv.com. And by Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. They're available where you can peruse their inventory right now at burdettcamping.com. That's burdettcamping.com. And right now they've got the Three Guys special. Unbelievable deal. For just $10,900, you're into a 177BH Wildwood camper. Check it out. Go to burdettcamping.com. Burdett Camping located in Winfield. They've got every brand you could look at. Puma, Wildwood, Rockwood, Coachman, many others. This is all eventually going to clear and people will get back outside. And you will want to do it looking fine. Go to burdettcamping.com. All right, we are delighted to be back with you. This is, I said, 191 of our Three Guys Before the Game. World continues to change as we know it. The Dean here is Hoppy Kercheval. Everything is fluid as we speak right now. The governor is going to be speaking here later on this afternoon to make another announcement. And so, Hoppy, as we know, this thing is as fluid as of a story as we've ever dealt with.
It really is.
That was, I'm sorry, because we're distancing. Yeah, I did the same thing Friday. I went mic 3 instead of mic 4, but we're distancing. So
distanced.
We're good. Yeah, go ahead.
This is, as you said, Tony, a very fluid situation. It's changing hourly, and as we speak, I know that the governor and his top people and medical advisors have been meeting to try to decide if there will be a next step. That next step could be, and again, by the time you hear this, the step will already have been announced, but it could be an additional, a shutdown of some kind. It could be a shelter in place. It could be some additional measure to try to keep the virus from spreading. Probably the most significant development earlier today was that one of the 14 cases in West Virginia was a community spread. In other words, the individual who was infected has not traveled out of state. So it was a community spread. So that is a bit of a change, according to Dr. Clay Marsh. So that's something you have to take into account. So we'll see. I think so far West Virginia has been very responsive. And I think for the most part, West Virginians have tried to keep their distance and to practice good hygiene and to make good decisions. And the thought is if we can continue to do that and make some additional measures, we won't end up like New York City or Los Angeles. And hopefully we won't. You're going to go here in a minute, Tony, to Alex Ruoff. And he, of course, is in Germany. And Germany has announced it's barring groups of more than 2 people from gathering, except for families. Chancellor Angela Merkel herself is going into isolation because her doctor has tested positive for the coronavirus. And Germany has been one of the European countries that's been on the forefront of how they've responded. So in Germany, if you're not in a family, no more than 2 people can be together to try to slow the spread of the virus.
What do you say we find out exactly how it is going? In our last episode, we went to France. We chatted with Nathan Adrian, who's playing professionally there in Bordeaux. Now we go to Alex Ruoff, who joins us from Göttingen, Germany. And he plays for BG Göttingen, which is a city that is near Frankfurt. Alex, thank you so very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks for having me.
You look good, my man. The sun is out as we record. And first off, let's get into the particulars. As Hoppy just said, obviously they are condensing things in Germany to groups of 2 or less people. Could you kind of give us an overview as to what rules you have been abiding by and what's the situation there?
Yeah, as Hoppy said, they've really done a great job of kind of being early on a lot of decisions. They shut down stores and restaurants to just delivery kind of quite some time ago. Today was the first day of a new quarantine level of, as Hoppy said, just 2 people. So it's not as strict as you would think. You can still go outside. You can still go see people, but they just don't want you congregating more than 2 people at a time.
What has life like been there? Because obviously, while you have been overseas for a number of years now playing professionally, there is still the comfort of home, I would imagine. When you're here on U.S. soil, it's a different deal. What has this been like for you individually?
It's been surreal for everybody, and Italy's probably taking it the worst right now, Italy and Spain, and we're very close, and we're kind of seeing that very close up. So it's extremely sad over here. I know it's hitting America a little bit late. I try to, every time I talk to my family, I kind of give them an update on what's happening over here, so they take it a little bit more serious. But no, it's just hard to imagine what's happening, and you just wish the best and pray as much as you can.
Alex, where were you in your basketball season when things got shut down?
Okay, so we've been shut down now for 2 weeks. The league is suspended, not yet canceled. That's kind of a complicated situation with sponsors and media rights and all that. But we were just starting the second half of the season. So we had about maybe halfway through the second round, had about 15 games left. And we were actually having a great season. For one of the low-budget teams, we were fighting for a playoff spot.
Alex Ruoff joins us from Göttingen, Germany. I want to get into particulars about how you've been playing because I saw some social media stuff and some highlights. My man, you still got it. I mean, I watched some games, some highlights of you, and number one, I think, well, here we go. We're going to show some of these highlights. It was really impressive, and I don't know if the clip that, for those that are watching in right now, if that fully represents it, but there's been the crowd has been packed, the place erupted. You had a steal late in a game when I saw that, you know what, I showed it to Hugs. We were on the bus, and I said, Hugs, look at your boy here. Look at this steal, how you cheated, and you knocked the ball away and basically won that game. And I said, well, I don't know if he does that, Hugs, if you don't coach him. I don't know if he ever would have picked that up. I don't know. You remember that play I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. That was a big win for us. We were playing the EuroLeague team Munich, and my point guard had just hit a shot. There's only a couple seconds left. I knew they might try to do a deep outlet to get a shot, and luckily I made a shot, so it helped us momentum going into the fourth.
You're putting the ball on the floor there and getting to the basket too. What's the game like over there for you in terms of style of play, both for you and the league that you're in?
So we're in a league that allows 6 foreigners. That's not necessarily all Americans. My team had 4 Americans this year. Actually played with a couple of Big 12 guys, Keenan Anderson from TCU and Dylan Osikowski from Texas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a mixture between European and also American basketball. It gets up and down, pretty athletic, but also that ball screen spacing structure.
He's all about going to the hoop.
Isn't
All these highlights are taken to the hoop, every one of them.
Yeah. All right, I'll take it. Good highlights.
How do they call the game over there as compared to here, officiating?
Well, I come from a different college era, remember? So we were in the Big East. We used to beat the crap out of each other. so that's changed. I think it might be a little bit more comparable as far as, touching people and being physical. But no, Germany lets you play a little bit. The refs speak English, which is really nice. You can have that dialogue, and they're pretty helpful in that sense. So we beat each other up every now and then.
Tony, you mentioned those crowds there. Talk to us about that. The highlights we're seeing here, multiple gyms, which looks like really great attendance. What's the participation from fans like over there?
It's good. It's maybe second or third place to football and handball, but no, it's good. We got a couple really big arenas, 2 EuroLeague teams, Berlin and Munich. They got NBA-sized arenas. Our gym here is a little bit smaller. We're about 4,000, but we pack it every time. It's sold out for years. And the crowds, actually, we're lucky here. There's the football team here is in 4th division. So we're the main show, which is kind of rare for Europe.
Are you a guy? I mean, do people know you? You go out and you go, oh, man, it's Alex Ruoff. Do people know you?
Yeah. It's a small town. It's a university town, but it's about 150,000. So just kind of big enough, just small enough. But I had played here before. So this is my third stint with this team, for going on my 4th year.
Well, that's awesome. Alex Ruoff joins us from Göttingen, Germany, and as you might imagine, their league currently is suspended. Also, Alex, it seems as though you get good television coverage. I mean, big boy television production. That was the highlight that I saw. I heard the announcers. I saw the production that they were doing. So it's broadcast then, obviously, as well.
Yeah, it's not quite American standards as far as ESPN and TV and all that, but every now and then we get a game on TV. Most of it is streamed online for Telecom and Magenta Sport. But yeah, they do a good job. Production, interviews, it's pretty awesome over here.
All right, let's pull something here. I pop in and out of the basketball practice facility in Morgantown during the summer. I watch the new kids, and I was taken aback this past summer when I saw you working out, because you had a commitment that you didn't want your career to end yet. You're how old now? 30 what?
33.
33. So you had injuries that potentially could have ended your career. You had surgeries that potentially could have ended your career. You worked like an absolute maniac this offseason in order to get back. What did you learn about that situation that you found yourself in? What did you learn about yourself by being able to not only come back but become another very productive player?
I've always had a pretty good work ethic. It was instilled in me when I was young, and that's always resulted in success for me. So it just kind of backed that up for me as it has in the past. Kind of like you said, coming back to this high level. I was in Finland last year, which is a little bit lower level, but getting back to this high level, it was kind of uncertain if I could still do this, play it at this level. So that's what drove me this summer to just kind of work hard. And then the fact that we're in the practice facility, thanks to Hugs, we got to be an example for the young guys. So the last thing I want to do is show a current mountaineer me being lazy or not going at it pretty hard. So I got to be a good example.
And let me expand upon that, guys. So when people say, they throw that term out nowadays, work hard. He worked hard, right? So I think some people think being inside the gym and like softly putting up jump shots, like that's I was in the gym for 3 hours. I was working hard. This dude works like there's a game. It's game speed by himself, game speed. And those student managers I know help you out incredibly, Alex, feeding you. But I mean, you're doing self drills, running around, chair, stop, pop, cut. I mean, big boy stuff. And I think hopefully other guys do see that. I mean, you're 33 years old, dude. You've been playing this game now literally for a long, long time. And anyone that's able to do that, that's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, just to back you up on that, we have some of the best managers in the country. They are willing to, at the drop of a dime, to come meet you at the gym and get shots because they're also learning. So, my workouts have kind of evolved over the past decade, and they're picking things up that they can share with other players and possibly for their future, depending if they stay with the sport or not. But we have a tremendous support staff. Sean Brown, Andy Kettler before him, and then Randy Metter, the trainers. We are just showered by support and love from the program, and we can't be more thankful.
Alex, of all the people I've known at three different Division I institutions that have played overseas, I think you have done the best job of ingratiating yourself into the community in which you're playing in terms of getting out and seeing restaurants and seeing sites and getting into that area where you exist. Pre-shutdown here in Germany, were you still doing that? Are you still getting out among the community?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a gamer. I don't really hang in the house too much. I try to see as much as I can. I know this adventure, this ride is going to come to an end eventually. So being a history major, a history buff, I like to see as much as I can. But like I said, this is my 4th year in Germany, so there are very little things I haven't seen yet in the country, but I've been trying. So
you've seen all the castles already? You've checked them all off your list?
Yeah. Actually, Nate Adrian came to visit me, and I was looking for a close castle to show him, but I hadn't seen them all. So ended up jumping up to Berlin for a night.
Yeah, Berlin would be a great visit because of all the history there, and that would be outstanding. I went to Austria once, and I tried to learn German. I was really hard language. The only thing I got was Guten Tag. That was all I got. It was Guten Tag.
Yeah, all I got was Bier bitte.
Yeah. How is you've literally been in Spain. You mentioned you were in Finland. You've been in multiple countries. Where are you at language-wise? And I know English is the universal language, but how do you do?
You get by. Germany's really easy. Everybody under 50 speaks some form of English. But it's to back Hoppy up, it's a very tough language to learn. I tried to get into class, I would say my first year in Germany, and I lasted about 2 weeks. It was just 8 a.m., Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that life was behind me, so I didn't last very long.
Did you see what he learned, though? You know what he learned? Beer, please.
Yeah.
You got to have your priorities together.
It's a hard language, and it's a abrupt sound, isn't it? I mean, it's certainly not one of the Romance languages which roll. It's a It's a hard
if
language.
you think of Spanish and you hear Spanish and you think, well, that it kind of makes sense.
Right.
You hear German, you go, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what. So it's a very, very difficult language. But like Alex said, there's a lot of English. Alex, I want to go back to the situation with the virus. And as you said, I think Angela Merkel is a trained scientist. And also, Germans are pretty notorious for following the rules. And it just seems like that Germany has gotten out ahead of this a little bit. And when she came out with this new order about no more than 2 people, she said these are not recommendations by the state. They are rules that have to be followed in our collective interest. Those who obey them, she said, will be punished. So, again, Germans pretty notorious for following the rules and following guidelines. So is it reasonable to believe that Germany will respond in that way to those guidelines, to those rules?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they might, like any culture, might have some issues with some young kids. But like you said, they follow the rules. And the point I made earlier, Italy is right below us, and they have seen that firsthand. It's been on the news for the past 2 months. So there's nobody over here underappreciating this virus. So when she hands down something or makes a recommendation, everybody does it. And you can see that 30,000 cases, only 100 deaths. So good example for the rest of the world.
Alex, physically, what are you doing to try to stay in some form of where you need to be?
So thankfully, they haven't shut our gym down. We can still go every day for individuals and weights. We just can't do it. We're by ourselves. We can't do it more with another teammate, which is a coach and I. So I'm still able to stay in great shape. If they do bring the hammer down for a quarantine, we'll have to get a little creative in the apartment.
You mentioned that Dylan Osakowski, who played at Texas, is on your team. He hasn't talked any Texas trash to you, has he?
No, he hasn't. I was able to talk trash to him, and then Texas got us the second time. But no, he's a great guy. He's a good dude. He's gonna have a great career. He's just a rookie this year, so it was a joy for me to be his veteran for his first year. But yeah, sky's the limit for that kid.
Yeah, he was interesting because he pulled he was definitely a chameleon, because first year he came out, he transferred to Texas. He had played, I want to say San Diego for some reason. I want to say that was, anyway. So he had this full beard, full long head of hair, and looked like just a unique dude, like old Bill Walton stuff. Then the next year he came back, he went, remember, complete brush cut, and you went like, where? Is that the same dude?
He went the reverse Nate Adrian.
He went reverse Nate Adrian.
Nate was short first, then went flow late, right?
Exactly. And you, Ruoff, you're always, I mean, you've been the standard bearer of short cropped hair. I mean, you've never relented from that, which I think deserves some accolades for you.
Yeah, it started with Mom giving us haircuts growing up, and we hold up to care about it. My brother went a different direction. I just have to change. It just gets in the way. But there's something to be said about a floppy head and getting foul calls.
Yeah, that is true. No, you're right. You can throw that head back.
Now, that's a point of emphasis, though, this year. You can't do that anymore.
Oh,
right?
well,
You're supposed to be calling that.
Yeah, just don't tell Truck Bryant. Just don't break the news to Truck Bryant. Hey, Alex, I'm going to try something technically here that may or may not work, but I solicit phone calls as well on the podcast, and someone specifically had one for you. So I'm going to try to do this. Okay. I think it's going to work. We'll give it a whirl. Let us know if you can hear it. If not, we'll just pretend that it didn't happen. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. This is Ben from Kansas City. Quick question for Alex. Just thinking back about Alex's career, I'm curious what his most memorable or favorite game was as a Mountaineer. You know, I remember the win over Duke in the second round of the NCAA tournament. And also had a big game, I believe, against Notre Dame in a Big East tournament, as well as beating Arizona another year in the NCAA tournament. So I'm just curious from Alex's perspective if he had a favorite game or game or two that he remembers fondly. Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So assuming you heard that, he's basically asking favorite game or two. Do you have one or two that you nestle in love?
Yeah, just as he kind of mentioned. The one he didn't mention that I just had a great time with was my sophomore season, a bunch of no-names taking down UCLA in the Coliseum. Oh, yeah. I think they were number 2 at the time with about 4 or 5 NBA players, one being Russell Westbrook. And like I said, we were a bunch of no-names. I think Frank and Darius were the only ones that with any playing time. And that victory in front of I had some family in the crowd. That's something that's special to me. But of course, the Duke victory in the tournament, Hugs' first year, we beat Arizona, and then the whole world didn't think we could beat Duke, and we messed up everyone's bracket for the state. That was a joy. Just talking about it now, I get goosebumps.
17.6 rebounds in that game.
Oh, you went 17 and 6 on that.
17 and 6.
So he was hitting his three. Now listen, I'm going to bring up that UCLA game because Brad is he's angry to this second about that UCLA game. Why are you so upset about that UCLA game?
I was just going to say that.
I know.
It's the only time I've seen it in my 40-some years of watching college basketball that ESPN, CBS, all of them, after that game, whenever they would flash a graphic for good wins for West Virginia, UCLA would be on the list, right? You'd get credit for beating number 2, as Alex mentioned, UCLA. Right next to it, there would always be an asterisk that said DNP Collison, referring to Darren Collison, who went on to a long NBA career, as if that somehow devalued the – I've never seen that. I've never seen it.
Lower third. It was on the lower third on ESPN.
I've heard people talk about that when they said, well, they got to win here. But remember, they didn't have their starting – I've never seen it in a graphic form before or after that. It still irritates me.
They had Westbrook.
They had Westbrook, which, by the way, another side note on that, do you think in the sliding scale of great players that went on to be great NBA Hall of Famers that don't get enough attention for playing in Morgantown, Westbrook has to be near the top of the list?
Yeah, you're right.
Because you talk, the Collison story overwhelms that UCLA win. The number 2 overwhelms, and you go, Westbrook was on that team?
Yeah.
But anyway, the DMP Collison, Alex, makes me absolutely lose my mind to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably sent us to the NIT, to be honest.
Well, listen, man. What's your clock thinking personally as far as when they make a call in regard to canceling or resumption? Do you have any idea? I saw you tweeted out this weekend. You threw your hands up on Twitter saying, what in the heck is this Italian team doing getting back together to practice? So what do you think and what do you hear is going to happen as far as you go?
Yeah, being a veteran and we don't really have a players union in Europe over here like the NBA. So trying to be a voice without maybe ruffling too many feathers. But player safety in some cases, that Italian team especially, didn't seem to be a concern or a priority. But our league meets again on Wednesday to decide the fate for the rest of the season, depending on what happens there. If it's possible to even return at this time with the travel restrictions, I may look into that. If not, I'm okay waiting it out here. Germany's got a pretty awesome medical field, so I'm not too worried about it if I have to hunker down here.
All right, last question for you. If you were to get up right now and walk to your kitchen and go into the refrigerator, what are 3 things I would find in your refrigerator right now?
You'd find water. You'd find some juice. You'd find about 4 different German beers.
A lot of beverages here.
A lot of liquid. That's a lot of liquid, man. You just going total liquid? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I got all my chicken frozen just in case we get cold. You might find an energy drink in there somewhere, but I don't know.
Heavy liquids. I mean, heavy liquids.
You got to be stocked up. I'm stocked up on beer just in case they.
No, I understand. No, I completely get
Stay
that.
hydrated. We get it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. So, what is your favorite German beer?
Ooh, that's tough. Oh, that's a really tough question. There's a bunch of them.
You a dark guy? Are you a dark guy or a Belgian wheat guy or?
I'm such a fake beer drinker. No, I'm a Coors Light guy trying to survive in Europe.
That's not even beer in Germany. That doesn't even register.
They hate on me all the time. No, there's a Paul Lehner beer that's pretty good. It's pretty famous. Paul Lehner's a good one.
Yeah, you can actually get that.
Well, hold on. Let's not let him go yet. Now, if we're going to talk about this, let's talk about this. What's the food situation? Are you a guy, you're so regimented with your workouts, you don't miss? Tony talked about the work. Are you just chicken every meal and then you mix your drink up? What do you do for food?
I'm pretty basic when it comes to cooking, but it's between, chicken, fish, or steak. I just change it up. I'll eat out once a week or so, but I keep it pretty simple, man. I don't get crazy in the kitchen.
Low carb?
It just depends on, I'll go high carbs during the season sometimes. I'll save it for the end of the week right before game. But most of the time at my age, I'm pretty low carb.
You're a much more mature eater than John Flowers, who's an absolute dumpster fire. I mean, it's lucky that the guy doesn't have to walk around with IV bags to try to get vitamins in his. I mean, the guy's the worst. I mean, he's gone to some of the great locales in the world, and I mean, it's like you're sending.
France was one of them, right? He wouldn't eat in France.
He brings like those MREs from the military with him. I mean, the guy functionally is just a disaster when it comes to eat.
Horrible.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good genes. I think he'll do just fine.
Yeah,
regardless.
probably will. Probably will. Well, listen, brother, we're going to let you go. We really, truly appreciate your time. Keep us up to date. We'll follow you on social media as well, and we hope that everything obviously works out expediently and well.
All right, Tony. Thank you, guys. Great talking to you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Alex.
Take care. There he is, Alex Ruoff from Göttingen, Germany, and he plays for BG Göttingen, which he said is near Frankfurt.
Between Frankfurt and Berlin, didn't you say?
Frankfurt, yeah, between
The quality is excellent.
Excuse me?
The quality of the feed is excellent. Excellent.
This internet. I mean,
I think it's going to catch on.
Hey, you know what? In all seriousness,
Yeah.
where would we be collectively if we didn't have the ability right now to use these devices to communicate information? You go back 100 years, 1918, right? You imagine that pandemic, Hoppy?
Oh, yeah.
No one knew how to communicate that information in a quick manner, right?
That's a great point, yeah.
I mean, this thing has revolutionized. People can work from their homes because of this, because of the internet.
Speaking of working.
I know you're going to take off. You're 4 minutes away from Hop's going to take off. We appreciate that very much.
Just leave right in the middle.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Whatever time we can get you for, we are appreciative of.
You're very kind. It doesn't feel like three guys. We're not arguing. We're all trying to get along. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
like three guys.
we'll get back to that eventually.
Gentler, kinder.
Yeah,
Kinder
it is.
right now.
It is.
We'll revert back.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Thanks, Hop. 3 guys becomes 2 guys. We still have stuff to do here, Senator. I've got texts. I've got phone calls. We'll do that in just a second. Give me your what was your take on the weekend? What'd you do? You didn't call me. You don't communicate. I mean, you kind of hold up. What'd you do?
Did
Not that you were going to come over and play it. What, just
see you, Hob? There he is, walking around.
6 foot back. You think that helped? You think that kept anything? You think that kept anything?
Yeah, because that looks a lot better than someone walking in the frame. Yeah.
I bowed up in case he came by. So what'd you do?
So I watched. I am not I've said this the other day. Not during regular times. It's basically all sports or nothing for me. Sports, right? Walk in, turn the TV on, get sports
Yeah.
on. I've just plowed through one of my favorite all-time TV shows, Billions.
Yeah, you told me about
Billions.
that.
So I'm done with that. Also caught a couple movies. We're a new Disney Plus subscriber family. So got through a couple Disney movies, and then I'm reading some books. You know, I love to read, so I'm hammering books.
I watched West Virginia, Missouri from the Final Four year, and the folks at WV are putting those games out on Facebook on the WV basketball page. And I had never watched the game. Obviously, I watched the game once when I was there, but that's 10 years later. So I truly watched it having no recollection whatsoever what happened other than the fact that West Virginia won the game. So I really, truly enjoyed it. I absolutely also love this. Probably shouldn't say this. I love no commercials. I mean, they go to break and they dip in and they dip right back. I'm going like, this is perfect.
What that feels is one of the more underappreciated games. You just kind of move past that one. Yeah, you beat Missouri. What happened? What happened in that game?
Exactly right. So a couple of different takeaways. Missouri was what Press Virginia was when Javon and Daxter were at their peak, right? They were forcing tons of turnovers. I think it was 19, which is a stupid high number. And that was going to be their whole plan, that they were going to try to go up and down real fast and get West Virginia into turnover problems. And as you watch the game, you truly appreciated how those guys valued the ball. And Bob Huggins was on Sportsline with us last week, and we were talking about the 10-year anniversary. And you had guys that truly valued it. Missoula, Deshaun, KJ, trying to think of somebody else that truly valued it. You couldn't get it away from them. And even though they were pressing, so Deshaun Butler became what George Niang of Iowa State was when West Virginia was pressing, right? West Virginia would press Iowa State, and Iowa State were like, we're all right. We'll give it to Niang. Because he's this mid-sized dude that can handle it well enough, see over it, and go. And Deshaun did a really good job with that.
And also to make one of the bigs come up and have to press the whole time, not a guard. Clear your guards and let a big bring it.
Exactly. Also, I told you this before we started recording. Joe Mazzulla, I forgot how low he played to the ground. Like he was almost in like a 3/4 squat position when he was dealing. He would get really, really low, which made it really, really difficult. And I really appreciate how he played because he had no interest whatsoever in getting his shots. You know how mad that makes me. Like not letting me play my game, right? You're not letting me play my game. Joe Mazzulla's game was like, I'm the catfish out here, man. I'll do whatever off the bottom of the deck that I need to do just to win the game. And that was fantastic. He scored a huge bucket late in that game.
Did you look at the box score? Have you
Never,
looked
no,
at it?
I didn't
okay,
look.
so let's play a little trivia. You said West Virginia protected the basketball well against a team that forces a ton of turnovers. Yeah. Number of turnovers.
Less than 11.
Ooh, very well done. 10.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
There's why you win.
I think
against a team that needs to force 19 turnovers, you have 10?
I think they had 2 or 3 in the first half.
That's really good.
Yeah, 2 or 3 in the first half. What did Devin Ebanks do field goal percentage? He didn't make a lot of shots.
Devin, 3 of 9.
3 of 9. But here's what he does do. He really was here's the thing that I took away. They switched everything 1 through 5, which is comical to watch. When someone could switch everything 1 to 5, the other team goes, "What in the hell is this?" Like they just switched 1 through 5 and they didn't even shrug a shoulder. You know how hard it is to try to score when teams are switching you 1 through 5?
And he was so critical to that. A 6'9" long guy that could guard 5'6" Isaiah Thomas in the next round after this game, but he could go big and guard you. You know what else he did? He did it in the first game, too, that we talked about the other day against Morgan State in that run. He was 8 of 10 from the free throw line.
Oh, yeah, they made foul shots. Look what Missouri was and look what West Virginia was. The foul, that was the game.
Missouri 12 of 20.
Yep.
West Virginia 25 of 33. So they're similar to this year's team, right? Plus 13 points on the free throw line.
So that's good. So this Thursday night on the Facebook, Thursday night, West Virginia and Washington from the Dome in Syracuse. You'll be able to watch that game on Facebook. This edition of Three Guys Before the Game, we're going to get into your phone calls coming up and your text messages. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. Has there ever been a time more than right now that you need to make sure that your IT is strong and monitored? It's right now, and Comax Business Systems does exactly that, offering managed IT services, managed voice services, 24/7 remote monitoring. Gives you the peace of mind that someone's always got your networks back, and people are going to start and have started and will probably for a foreseeable future be working more from their home. Comax Business Systems makes it right. They are an elite dealer, the only dealer in the state of West Virginia ever awarded that prestigious honor by ENX Magazine. Check them out, ComaxWV.com. You ready for some phone calls?
Let's do it.
All right. What do you say we start with a little bit of a rhyme?
Hey guys, it's Ryan and Ryan. Thanks again for plugging the Reddit site. We've got 25 members over there now, and hopefully that continues to grow and we can keep posting content and adding stuff to the show. It's actually kind of funny. Through that, I actually connected with someone, West Virginia stats guy, who turns out to be an old family friend. So already creating a small community over there, so appreciate you plugging that. Question today is kind of around what happens if we go into an extended shutdown through the state with the show. So my rhyme is, if Justice announces a shutdown, will Three Guys have a big frown? What will Three Guys say, and are there plans for the show anyways? Hope you guys are staying safe, and thanks for producing the content through this time, and everyone out there really appreciates it. Thanks. Bye.
All right, thank you. That's Rhyming Ryan. He's been a long-time listener, and he did start a subreddit on Three Guys Before the Game. I didn't realize we had 25 people on there, so
Excellent. It's building.
I'll jump on there today probably, and
just say hi.
Communicate. Say hi. I jumped on there already once just to say, hey, I'm here. Thanks for everybody. Obviously, as we say when we start the program in regard to the future of what we're doing here, things may change, but our plan is in some form or fashion to do the show. So that is going to be our long-range plan. It may change in some form, but ultimately, at a minimum, we'll get you the audio. We can figure that out. We can get you the audio. We've got ways to do that, even if, whatever happens doesn't allow us to come into the studio. Ready to go? Got a concerned listener. Concerned.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is Jenny from St. Albans, aka the Wife for Life. Hope you guys and your families are well. 2 quick things, and I'll try to hurry. Number one, while we're in this sports black hole, we eagerly anticipate your show 2 times a week. If the situation in West Virginia worsens with the virus, could you all do a show remotely with each of you from your homes? While you're continuing to come to the studio, please maintain the 6-foot social distancing, only even if that prevents Hoppy from cheating from Brad. And 2, we rewatched the Baylor game last week, and one of my sons came up with an idea that I wish I had thought of. He said Hug should auction his sideline stool at the end of each season for the benefit of the Norma May Huggins Foundation. The coaches and the team could all sign it. What say you? Please wipe down your microphones, desks, computers, and phones. Sing Country Roads as you wash your hands 352 times a day. We want this show to remain always 3 guys.
Thank you very much.
It's very nice.
Very concerned. I mean, as you well know, if you're listening now, we started with 3. Kercheval checked out, so we are down to 2, but we're going to keep on going. You would be very impressed with how we do clean. This studio.
And have cleaned.
We have.
That's not a new development.
This was
for us.
before the coronavirus. We go very, very heavy in this studio with alcohol and wipes and everything. We got a touch screen here, and I've got boards to my side, the microphone. We've always done that, and now we're even doing it probably double and triple. We clean everything off, so we do appreciate you thinking about that. Love the idea with the stool. Actually, Hugs has sold multiple stools when he does the fish fry. He's had legendary mountaineers sign them, like I think Jerry West did some. I know Rod Thorne did some, and others. And Hugs signs that as well. So it's a good idea. I do think maybe that he should use the game stool at the end of the season and do the same thing. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, I do like it.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're watching today's episode, you did see we enacted social distancing on the set. Kercheval was as far down as you could get. I'm smack in the middle. You're on the other far end. So we have instituted that as well.
Yeah. Again, Hoppy and the folks on the news side are on top of this thing here. But listening to Dr. Clay Marsh from WVU Medicine earlier today on Hoppy's show, the state of West Virginia has gotten off to a good start with dealing with this, okay? And if you want to use a sports analogy, I think this is kind of where we are right now. I don't necessarily know if we're at the midpoint or the half point of where we are, but I do think this. West Virginia's got an early lead, and we maybe got a media timeout here going right now. What do we always talk about? Teams blowing the lead, right? Why could they blow that lead? Well, right now you're up. Right now we're up collectively, considering the competition, considering the people around us. Don't come out now and lose your intensity. Ramp up your intensity. You know how we always talk about putting your foot down on someone's throat and squeezing them?
And finishing
them? Now that's what we have to do. And that could be for weeks. But now let's not blow the early lead. Let's not blow the early lead.
Well, you protect the ball.
Protect the doggone ball.
And follow the play that was drawn up in the huddle. Don't improvise and clear out and tap your head. Remember the old tap your head means I've got it, get out of the way. Don't tap your head. Just follow the play that was drawn up.
Just do it. How many times Hugs say, show me what you can do, don't show me what you can't do. Just do what you're told to do, and we all can come out of this thing. All right, some texts are coming up, but here's a couple of things. Remember last show, we asked and solicited from you memories and thoughts about the phrase, it's a great day to be a mountaineer wherever you may be. Got a lot of response, and we truly appreciate that because we being the Pikewood creative side, Dan Lohman, are putting together a project. And we're soliciting thoughts, and the subject is great day to be a mountaineer wherever you may be. And we're soliciting people's thoughts and memories about that phrase, how you use it, when you use it, what's it mean to you, and perhaps even now, if you're not located with folks, family, friends because of what's going on, what's it mean to you? So anyway, we're still taking those, and you can send those along at the number 304 304-404-4083. 304-404-4083. You can leave a voicemail. You can send a text. But here's a couple on memories of that.
Hello, this is Tyler from Morgantown. Wanted to share my story related to the first time I heard it's a great day to be a Mountaineer. It was at the Louisville game in triple overtime in 2005. I was in the stands with my family. And the reason it's special is two different reasons. One, the game was played on my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary, and my grandfather decided to go to the game. My grandmother stayed home because it was stay past her bedtime. The other reason was when the South Florida game was delayed in 2005. The game was rebroadcast over the radio, the Louisville game, and I recorded it on my cell phone and used the phrase, it's my cell phone ringtone, for about 6 years. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so he used it as his cell phone ringtone. So the South Florida game, if you remember, got postponed. So that weekend, Mountaineer Sports Network played back the Louisville game. He recorded it and put "It's a Great Day to Be a Mountaineer" wherever you may be on his cell phone, and used it for about 6 years. Here's something else we unearthed over the weekend. I haven't even talked to you about this. So we're trying to figure out when it was first used. Now, you might think, well, you're the guy that used it, so when did you use it? I had, you know me. I mean, I don't know what I ate for breakfast.
Or what you said last segment.
So when Dan and I began this project, he said, when was the first time you used it? I said, it was the Wake Forest basketball game in March of 2000. No, I didn't say that. I said it was the Louisville football game. What's a caller just referred to? I said it was Louisville football game, so that's October. And he goes, I don't think so. I said, when do you think it was? He said, I think it was before that. So we started to look, and we said we found it used for the Wake Forest basketball game, which was in March, and then that football game was in October, the following October. So I used it at the Wake Forest game. So I'm thinking, okay, so as of Friday, we were going off of the belief that Wake Forest was the first time.
Okay. March of 05.
March 05. Then this weekend, I had assigned this to our co-producer, Daniel Woods, who's also the guy that switches the show here and produces and edits the video portion of the podcast. I said, Daniel, I got an assignment for you. When was the first time Great Day to Be a Mountaineer was ever on? So we listened to tapes last week, and we were under the belief it was Wake Forest. Get a text from him this weekend. It says, I found It's a Great Day to Be a Mountaineer before that. I said, what do you got? He sends me a little video clip. 2004 at LSU.
Football? Basketball.
Basketball. When we cut them up.
Backdoored them 1,000 times?
They're still trying to figure out where West Virginia
No idea what they were doing defensively that day.
Yeah, they just totally.
Really? 04 LSU?
Sort of. It was like. It was
Why, you weren't totally into it? You didn't have it refined?
It was an embryonic state. It was this. West Virginia beats, the game's over, da-da-da. West Virginia beats LSU. It's a great day to be a Mountaineer, and I kept going. Didn't say wherever you may be. So I think great day to be a Mountaineer was LSU, and the first time wherever you may be was Wake Forest. But our source, so here's the deal. So I bring all of this up for this reason. If by some weird chance you tape games or have games or whatever, and you can find it before 04 LSU, let us know. But it might be 2004 at LSU, half of it. Half of it. On we go. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't have guessed that.
That was one of my funnest road trips ever at LSU. Just went in there and backdoor cut him. That game against LSU, and when we played Oklahoma in Oklahoma City way before Big 12, they had no idea what was going on. I mean, West Virginia's running that 2-guard front, and they're backdoor cutting those poor buddies. And I mean, those guys didn't know whether to call their cell phone or whine or comb their hair. They what? It was fun.
That was one of the very fun, underrated aspects of that Beeline team. It was really fun when the threes started raining down, right? And they got in that momentum, and multiple guys were hitting, and Pittsnoggles going bananas and just raining threes. That was fun.
Right.
But when you'd come out and say, you know what, you're not shooting threes on us today, and they'd say, oh, is that right? Is that right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let them just backdoor the hell out of you. Here we come. I loved it when they would do that.
Those were disheartening layups because
no one would dunk it either. Like
No.
they were all layups, right?
Well,
no one's dunking the ball.
And if you remember the way they practiced layups, I mean, there was a way they shot layups. If you remember, there was a way that they would go up and the left hand would guide the ball up. So they shot. It wasn't like you just go up there and like throw up a layup. It was this. Like it had to be, right? It had to be like.
Just killing people.
And that's what made it even sweeter. All right. One more phone call before we do your texts.
Hey, Tony, this is Ben in Kansas City. You asked last week during the call to leave a message about what does the phrase, it's a great day to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be. What does that mean to you? And for someone who grew up in West Virginia, went to high school in West Virginia, went to college at WVU, my wife is from Morgantown, went to West Virginia. We have family who work at the school. Obviously, we bleed blue and gold. I remember first hearing that as we had moved to Maryland and the Sugar Bowl win. You know, I was by myself. I think my wife had went to bed. I stayed up and watched that game and heard you on the radio say that phrase. And I think it's carried with me as we've traveled throughout the U.S., now living in the Midwest. And, you know, it's just one of those things where if I'm watching a game on TV and I always have you playing on the radio, and there's just a feeling of togetherness, a feeling that we're all connected, no matter where I am, no matter where my family is still in West Virginia or other Mountaineer fans. It just has a very good sense of family and a very great opportunity for me to feel connected to our Mountaineer family. So I love the phrase. Every time I hear it, it brings me back, and I think of kind of a virtual hand holding with all of our family and all of our family that we don't even know that we are linked through that love of West Virginia. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Well said. And again, we really appreciate those. And if someone's got a special recollection of that, by all means, we would love to hear from you at 304-404-4083, 304-404-4083. You can text or you can
call and leave a voicemail message.
Excuse me. I went left. I'm gone.
Shot it away.
Real
quick, I pulled the box score up from that game. November 27th of 2004.
Yeah, okay.
West Virginia shot 60% from the floor.
How about that?
33 of 55. It included 11 threes, 6 of them by Patty B.
Pat had 6?
Pat pumped in 6 threes. Tyrone Sally, quickly becoming a very underrated aspect of that particular group and that team, had 22 on the day to lead the Mountaineers in scoring.
Yeah.
60% from the floor. Hello.
I remember we had to bus from Baton Rouge to New Orleans to get the plane. That was one of the funnest because it was an early Saturday game, and we were gliding. We were giddy. We got on that bus, and everyone was just like, because they had a huge non-conference home win streak. They had won like 70-some games, 60, 70 games home non-conference.
Glenn Baby Davis in that game, just 1 of 7 from the floor. So head coach at the time of LSU, John Brady, takes his seat next to Chris Lowe from Southern Illinois, who got carved up in an NCAA tournament game, didn't know what happened, and Oliver Purnell from Clemson in the NIT that's still trying to go back and look at tape and figure out what West Virginia did.
Yeah.
Right? Offense and defensively, that 1-3-1 flummoxed those guys.
Yeah. Ready for some texts?
Sure.
Here we go. Hey, 3 guys. Jack from West Virginia. Last show you talked about the greatest and most devastating NCAA tournament games for West Virginia. What's the greatest and most devastating game each of you have witnessed in the Coliseum? Personally, for me, the most devastating game was the 2008 Georgetown game, controversial block, lack of goaltend at the buzzer. And the greatest was the 2010 Marquette game, Deshaun Butler game winner.
Was that Patrick Ewing Jr. that had the goaltend that wasn't called?
Left side, yes, left of the rim.
That was a good one.
Hugs still hot. Like if you went to Hugs and just go like, "Hey Hugs, Patrick Ewing, hey Hugs, Patrick Ewing Jr. goaltend." Like I say, if you had a cuff on, like a Brett Fleischer cuff, it would go beep beep. He's still pissed about that. He still talks about that like it happened last week.
If I have my timing right on that Marquette one, we were at, I believe, the Gator Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I was already in Jacksonville at the Gator Bowl, and I don't know how I was accessing this. If this was at that point in technology, I don't think I was listening. I think I might have been following along on stats, sitting in a movie theater getting ready for a movie to begin, losing my mind. Those are good ones.
Jake, your question's really good. I'm not prepared to answer it. I'm going to try to do that Thursday because, I mean, we're talking about hundreds of games as far as the most devastating loss. I'd probably have to go back, and I don't know yet, but it'd have to go back to some type of an important game buzzer beater.
Yeah, I need some,
where a team runs off the floor against you, where they hit it and they're gone.
I need some time to digest that.
So good question there for future reference.
Overall, if you were pulling it out of just the Coliseum and saying overall, the loss at the Pit to Louisville and New Mexico to go to the Final Four is my number one.
Yes. Yeah, it'd have to be. Yeah.
That was a double gut punch.
Yeah. Brett in Florida. My great day to be a Mountaineer was the Orange Bowl victory over Clemson. My brother came down from Parkersburg. We rode to the game from our hotel on a bus filled with Clemson fans. So you got in a little Tim. Can we please get a TBT and Best Virginia update? Any chance the team can get Dior Fisher to play? You know, among a lot of different things, this TBT's in question, right?
July, mid-ish, yes.
We haven't gotten into this, but, I mean, yesterday conversation began as to what's going on, what potentially could happen with football, right? I mean, this could get massive. Pete Thamel, Yahoo Sports, had a story last night. Several comments from WVU President Gordon Gee. I mean, this thing's got a domino effect, massive domino effect that touches obviously everyone. And sports is a small part of it. We get that as far as that goes. But this has massive implications, and there's no guarantee right now where this thing could go. Guys, not for public distribution. Well, I can't. Probably need to do a better job on that. Someone writes in here, I was on press row covering the Wake Forest game for the DA when Tony christened his trademark, "It's a great day to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be." Thus, the first time I heard the phrase was when West Virginia stuffed Brian Brom on the goal line to secure a 3 overtime win against Louisville. I was in my dorm room in Hong Kong, where it was about 7:30 in the morning, so the phrase seemed particularly poignant and really resonated with me as a homesick foreign exchange student. I stayed up all night streaming the radio broadcast online, and more than once considered turning it off as West Virginia floundered for 3.5 quarters before pulling off the miraculous comeback. I specifically remember latching on to Tony's words and thinking how apropos they were, not knowing it would be his signature call. Subsequent years, I've traveled to every U.S. state in over 60 countries. But no matter where I go, I always tune into Mountaineer basketball and football games. From Weirton to Warrnambool, Australia, Martinsburg to Madagascar, Tony's victorious words always bring me a little closer to home. My man's been to 60 countries.
That's impressive in every state. And good job working Madagascar in there.
I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to you, dude, wherever you are, because we want to talk to you. Yeah, I want to talk to you. Hey, you know something else that we need to get into that we haven't gotten into yet, Senator? Because everyone's thinking about West Virginia's basketball season next year. Non-conference basketball schedule's out.
Yeah, it is out.
So we got Oscar Tshiebwe has been named NABC, National Association of Basketball Coaches, all-district first team, which is a tremendous honor for Oscar. So
very deserved for him.
Congratulations to him. So he's a first-team selection, and great honor for Oscar Tshiebwe. First off, that's good. Now, you know, I already started on this basketball schedule. As soon as I took a look at the basketball schedule story when it came out, I said, okay, how's it interfere with football? So we're going to have to do a little creativity here, but here's the non-conference schedule. Firstly, unlike this past year, West Virginia played one game at home this year, then played a road game in its second game. Remember, went to Pitt. This coming season, West Virginia will play 4 straight home games. They will play Fairleigh Dickinson, November 10. 3 days later, a Friday night game against Pitt. Now, that's the night before West Virginia plays at Oklahoma State in football. So you got Pitt here at the Coliseum Friday the 13th of November. Then 4 days later, home on a Tuesday, Stony Brook. And then Friday, November 20th, this will be the day before the Baylor football game, West Virginia against Bowling Green.
Well, that'll be fun for West Virginians, right? Watch Caden Matheny come back. He's a University High standout, headed to Bowling Green.
Exactly. And then West Virginia is going to play 3 games at the Battle for Atlantis, the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlanta. You're familiar with that brand, aren't you?
Very familiar. We've worked with that brand extensively with the bowl game we've called each of the last 3 years for national radio.
Yeah, got multiple hats, matter of fact. Bad Boy
Shirts.
Mowers hats, shirts, yeah. And then West Virginia will play a Big East team in the Big East Big 12 battle either Saturday or Sunday, December 5 or 6. Then a good Robert Morris team, which won over 20 games this year. Were they going to the tournament? Did they win the NEC? They may have won the NEC, the Northeast Conference. They may have. Anyway, so then you've got that. Purdue in Brooklyn on Sunday, December 13th. That's always a good physical matchup.
It is. It feels as if we're getting close. I don't think we're there yet, but I feel like we're getting close to Purdue matching the number of games that are in the Backyard Brawl. Does West Virginia play Purdue more than any other non-conference in all? I mean, it feels like Purdue's every other year.
And if you throw in the secret scrimmages they've had against them, we've played Purdue more than Pitt. Like sometimes Mountaineers will practice. No one knows this. Middle of the night, they'll just drive. They'll just drive to West Lafayette just to play them again. It's kind of like when Oregon and Oregon State used to play football against each other 4 times a week.
Doubleheaders sometimes on
Doubleheaders,
Saturdays.
like you turn it on, like you'd watch the Mountaineer football game, and then it's like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. You're pretty tired. You say, I just want to see what else is on. And you turn it on, and Oregon's playing Oregon State, and there's a torrential rainstorm that's going on. The field's got 4 inches of water on it, and they say, it's Oregon State, the 3rd time they're playing here today. You remember those games? I think they don't play as much anymore, but they used to play 3 to 4 times a weekend.
Yeah, and that turf that was always wet, it was the old turf, so it was real shiny in spots. Anyway, I digress, but it feels like West Virginia and Purdue play a lot.
December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas, a Tuesday night, West Virginia plays the Youngstown State Penguins, Coliseum. MAC team, Miami University, on the 29th of December. So West Virginia will be off 22. For those Mountaineers, Christmas break-wise, will be off 23 through 29. And then the SEC Big 12 Challenge, I would assume West Virginia is going to go on the road this year because we played Missouri here this past year on Saturday, January the 30th, which means if West Virginia is going to play in the Big 12 SEC Challenge on Saturday, January 30th, just do this. Get on an airplane, like book your plane flights right now because they'll play Iowa State on Monday at Iowa State. Inevitable. Just like that's what they'll do.
Real quick on that battle for Atlantis, because I'm anxiously looking forward to that. That has quickly become Maui's very well known and always has a great field. This battle for Atlantis has really made a push the last couple of years with some great teams. Here's the field real quick. West Virginia, Duke, Ohio State, Creighton, Wichita State, Utah, Texas A&M, and Memphis. That's a heck of a field. There were some really good programs.
Yep, excellent field. All right. So, everyone, please stay safe. As I said earlier on, got a good start on this deal. If it were a game, we got a good start. That doesn't mean you're finished right. So, please stay safe. Stay clean, wipe off everything you possibly can wipe off because, as Dr. Clay Marsh said with Hoppy earlier today, I mean, now the research is showing, there are studies and the reports are showing that this virus is being transferred by the spit drops that are left. So that's why we have to have 6 feet plus of distance and surfaces. So anything you can, stay in and clean away. We will be back on Thursday. We invite you to join us. As a very special thank you to Alex Ruoff for joining us from Germany. We'll have more Mountaineers as the days go on. For Hoppy and the Senator, I'm Tony Caridi, 3 Guys Before the Game, episode 191, brought to you by Comax Business Systems, your full-service Konica Minolta dealer. Go to Comax Business Systems at comaxwv.com, and by Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Take a look at their items available to you, and there are 3 Guys special at burdettcamping.com. For our producer, Daniel Woods, we're out. Talk to you again on Thursday, and thank you for listening, sharing 3 Guys Before the Game. See ya.